Good morning, class. We today begin with a new chapter in English literature named Quest for Natural Living. Now, as we move on, let me put the screen on screen sharing. So, the name of the chapter is Quest for Natural Living. Now, I would like each one of you to please sit with everyone should have their book so that reading is easy. Switch off your mic. The class is only of 60 minutes, so please do not waste time. I don't want to check anyone while I am teaching. So please be in your best behavior. I hope you can see the screen. Quest for natural living. Now, the meaning of quest is something that you desire deeply, you aim for. Your aim for living a natural life is known as quest for natural living. Now, this particular lesson has been taken from an article written for The Better India by Ranjini Shivaswamy. Okay, she has written it and it talks about the natural elements. Please switch off the mic. It talks about the natural living conditions which a couple living in Kerala follows. They, instead of living in a city life, they preferred to live closer to nature with all the possible natural things around them. So let us see all books, open page 46. Let us read about a couple who adopted a natural lifestyle which has resulted in a mini forest and an energy efficient home. Now, there was a couple, there is a couple who's living in a natural environment among the greenery, among the nature, and has resulted in a mini forest. It is, they're living in such a way that it appears as if they're living in a small little forest of their own, and an energy efficient home. That means a home that they built was energy efficient. That means the natural energy was there and used for most of the time. Natural energy is the heat energy from the sun, the water energy from the sources of water near them, etc. Now I read the lesson. I want each one of you to pay attention. They live in a house that needs no fans, even when it is blistering 40 degrees outside. They let their land bloom and bear like a forest without any interference. They created a life for themselves that is close to nature, and the best benefit, they haven't had to take any medicines in the last 17 years. So now the first paragraph very beautifully explains that the house in which they are living is mostly full of natural elements. It has no fans and neither it needs one. Even in the blistering 40 degrees outside, that means even if the in the scorching heat of 40 degrees where we all sit under the AC, they still prefer living in that natural environment. They let their land bloom. That means they look after the area where they live and they are supportive towards their land and bear like a forest and still keep the natural element of the forest alive by not disintegrating it into the artificial means without any interference. That means there's no interference of the elements which can spoil the nature. Then they have created this life for themselves, which is very close to nature. And then they ask you, what could be the benefit of it, all this? And they answer it that the only benefit they have found is both the husband and the wife, both the couple, they have not taken any medicine in last 17 years. That means living in the laps of nature. has made them all in all, not only the nature, healthy living, but their health is also at their best as they have not used any medicine since 17 years. When Hari and Asha married, they made their wedding a gathering for fellow environmentalists. Every guest was served a fruit and a bowl of Kerala's traditional payasam. They wouldn't celebrate it any other way. Now, these are the names of the couple, Hari and Asha. When they got married, they made sure that only those people from their family will come, those who are into loving nature. And that is why he said that the gathering they collected was only of the fellow environmentalists. That means all the members who came for the wedding were the ones who had love for nature, who loved the environment in its natural form. And every guest was served with a bowl of fruits and payasam. Now, if you see the meaning of payasam, it is like what we call in Hindi the kheer kind of a thing. Okay, rice and milk was boiled with the flavored cardamom and cashews. So all these things were followed, and they decided that they would not celebrate in a pomp and showish way. They would keep it simple and to the point. Clear? Coming to the next passage, next paragraph. Hari is an employee of the local water authority in Kannur, and Asha is part of a community that helps farmers practice natural farming. Please hold a pencil in your hand. So Hari is working in a local water authority in Kannur. Kannur. Please underline this. The water department he is working in, and Asha, his wife, she works in a community where the farmers practice natural farming and she encourages them. Natural farming means no pesticides, no nutrients were added. The soil was nourished in a natural way by tilting it, by providing water regularly, not by artificial means. Okay? And they both love nature, and this is reflected in every aspect of their lives. Now, both the husband and the wife, Hari and Asha, they have love, immense love for nature, and this could be seen in their working, in the lifestyle that they have taken up. Next paragraph. When they decided to build a house, Hari and Asha wanted it to be energy efficient. Now, I will break this paragraph, I'll explain each line. Now, when they were building their house after marriage, they made sure, please stop this attendance right now. You can give it later. You joined late and now you're disturbing the class now and again. So, they are telling you that when they got married and they decided to build up their own house, they decided firstly to build it in the laps of nature, closer to the nature. And they wanted their house to be energy efficient. That means it should be energized with the natural elements. It should be efficient enough, deeply connected to nature, and sustainable. Now, they wanted a house which could be deeply connected to nature's and natural elements and sustainable. That means which could be affordable, which can be maintained. How to maintain without costing much? Through natural. The solar energy could be used, the hydro energy could be used. So all these things were kept in mind while they were building their house. An architect friend joined them in making such a house a reality. Vansh Bajpayee, thanks for joining late and stop giving these messages. If you want, I will waste this time. I will also stop now. चलो थोड़ी chit chat करें. This is what you want. See what you are do what you are doing. These are the latecomers. They have joined now, and now they are sending the messages. No more. One should stop. No more attendance will be sent now. And once I'm planning to throw you out of the group. Trust me, I'm doing all my best. I've already removed you from the WhatsApp group because your DP is a horrible DP. Children, if you happen to see Vansh's DP, go and see there's a demon made on it. And I told him to change, he has not changed. And this is getting recorded. Father will, if you at all go to Father, Father will also know that the teacher is annoyed. Disturbing the class in between. Yes, one. Who has opened the mic? चलो कुछ खेल करते हैं. Since you're not in mood to study, let us do it. See, it is Vansh Bajpayee. निकलो तुम यहाँ से. Now see, moving further. So, we were talking of the architect friend who had joined in making this house, which was closer to nature, a reality. That means the dream coming true. It was whatever they dreamt of a natural element in the house, it was that architect friend who helped. Now, the 960 square feet house sits amidst 34 cent of land in a little town in Kannur district, Kerala. So the area of the house is 960 square feet and it is among the 30 cent area of the land. 34 cent, okay? जैसे एकड़ होता है ना, इतने एकड़ में फैले हुए फॉरेस्ट में it was 960 square feet house and it was built in a place, underline it, Kannur district, Kerala. What makes it unique is that its walls are made of mud, an inspiration drawn from how the tribals of Kerala built their mud houses. So now, while they were building this house, they made it unique by making the walls out of mud. And the idea they had got inspired, inspiration means the real theme of working it out came from the tribals of Kerala. Tribals are those people who are living in a backward society, the tribals. The tribals are the जिसे कहते हैं the people living dwelling in a forest. Yeah, the tribal people, the backward people. ठीक है? So they were the tribals of Kerala, and seeing them getting inspired from their way of living, even these two, Hari and Asha, had built their house in the same way with mud walls, etc. Now these mud walls are alive and they breathe in and out. Now, do you think a house really breathes? No. It is not that the walls are breathing in and out, but since they are keeping the outer heat away and keeping the inside of the house clean and cool, that is why they are saying it that the house is made of mud and it appears as if it is living house which is breathing in the freshness and breathing out the excessive heat. So and that is why they call it an alive house. Now, the explanation is given below. The walls let the warmth of the sun into the house slowly during the day. Now, in the morning time or in the throughout the daytime when the sun is there, the warmth of the sun is taken inside slowly. By the time the air within the house is warm, it's evening. And by the time the evening sets in, the house, before it turns out very hot, it is the evening time. So this mud house acts as a stopper, acts as a vent. So to modulate the temperature. Because of the mud walls, the inner portion of the house is not that hot as it would have been if it was of cement, etc. Now, the house stays warm until around 11 at night. Then it's time for the cool air to permeate. permeate. So now till 11 o'clock, the warmth is there. Now, when they are saying warmth, it in no way means that the heat is there. Garmi, they are not talking. Yes, basically, warmth is something very cozy feeling. So the feeling of that warmth the cozy feeling is there in the house until 11 o'clock when it starts letting in cool air to come inside. Permeate means to spread throughout. This movement of air makes a fan completely redundant for the house, whatever the temperature outside. The roof of the house is made from a combination of concrete and corrugated tiles. The concrete was advised because of the heavy rains the region gets. Otherwise, the couple would not have included it in the structure. Now, these last two, three lines are very impressive. They are telling you that it's not that they do not have fans inside. They do have fans, but those fans are very rarely used. Think of us, we have ACs in our houses, and by the time, even if it is 30 to 32 degrees, we start using the ACs. But these people, they only rely on the natural air and the moisture, etc. So they use the fan maybe in the afternoons when it is little hot, little warm it is. And then they are telling you that everything is looked after in a natural way. Clear? Now they're telling you that only the top of the house. Can you see the top here? See here, the roof of the house. Only that is made of concrete, cemented concrete, okay? And corrugated tiles. Corrugated means the wavy tiles. Can you see the waves here? And they have made this because they were not interested in putting the cement and concrete. But then they did it because the area where they live experiences heavy rainfall. And if the muddy walls would be there as a roof, it will collapse. So, taking the advice of the others, they made only the roof of concrete and corrugated tiles so that at least the house can face the heavy rains at the time of rainfall. And this Kerala receives a lot of rainfall. That is why they agreed to have a roof which would be strong enough to hold back the natural element. The usage of electricity is minimal, and there are very few light points in the house. Now, they use light. It is not that they are living in a tribal area in a tribal way. They have power points in their house. They have good electricity connection. Only thing is they have decided to use it in a minimal way. Minimal means बहुत ही कम, minimum. Okay, in a minimal way. In a very small quantity, they use the electricity power points. The architect for the home specializes in space management. He structured the house in such a way that it gets ample natural light. So now the architect who built this house has kept these things in mind, that the spacing of the house is done in such a way that the house, being small, everything is very meticulously dealt. Meticulously means very methodically it is done and managed. The space is taken into account. वहाँ पे चीजें भरी नहीं हुई हैं. They have ample space and only things which are needed are kept there. Now the structuring of the house was in such a way that the natural light is available all the time throughout the day. Lights are lights are placed in such a way that a single lamp can light up a large area. Now the lights which are built up also, the points which are built up are also kept in such a way that it is placed in such a way that if it is lit, the whole house gets the maximum light and the area covered by the light should be a big one. Hari and Asha decided they do not need a fridge, primarily because most of the food they consume comes directly from their land. Now, Hari and Asha, both of them have decided that they will not have fridge. Like all of us, we cannot survive without it. But these two couples, they decided that they will not have fridge in their house. Why? Because they knew that whatever they are consuming, whatever they are eating, is coming directly from the land that they have. Because why is it so? Because they are cultivating their own food. They are having their own kitchen garden where they could work out the natural food. Still, in order to create some kind of cool storage area, they dug up a square space in the kitchen. Now, what they did was, instead of having a fridge, and they know that they don't need a fridge, still just to keep a thing things properly, they have dug out in their kitchen. They have dug out a small area inside the ground on the floor of the kitchen. They have dug up a small little square spaced area, lined it with bricks, and placed a mud pot inside. Now, what they have done is they have dug up the area, then the dug portion is then given a brick lining. उसको ईंटों से उसके side lines दिए हैं, okay? And after that, they have again placed it with the mud. Good, good. And then a pot is kept inside. A बड़ी सी हांडी रख दी है उन्होंने, okay? By filling sand around the pot and keeping it damp. Now, in that pot, they have filled it with sand and they have made the sand moist. So let us repeat again how they have made this mini natural fridge of theirs. Firstly, they dug up a squared area in the kitchen. After that, they gave a lining to it with the bricks. After that, the bricks were again covered with the mud, and then a pot was kept inside that muddy area. Then the pot, inside that pot, sand was kept. Balu. Sand is the balu. Sand is the balu that you get on the sea beaches. Okay. So inside the pot, they have kept the sand and they have made it moist, kept it damp so that the damp sand is cool. And then the mud pot stays cool and keeps things fresh for at least a week. Now, all this process, that mud pot keeps the things fresh for at least a week's time. Clear till here? We stop the class now.